Cleveland since his arrival.
Mike James just picked up his first foul. Rebound by Chris Mim out of Texas. Ahead it goes. Blanc going by James and finding it at the other end. And up 54% here.
Well, and Paul Silas put a lot of importance on this ball game, too, when we were talking to him. He indicated that he thought this game was extremely important to his team in terms of the penetrates.
John, can you think of a better coach for a guy like Carlos Boozer than his coach, Paul Silas, who's playing basically the same kind of position his coach played many years ago? Pierce with a nice fadeaway to knock it in.
And Paul played that role, Steve, off Paul Pierce.
Yeah, I agree. And, of course, Antoine Walker was the one a year ago who would take a lot of that pressure off, disparage his game, because I think he's a wonderful player. He's just being asked to do too much.
Well, shooting 23% to Cleveland's 36% for the game.
I mean, he just gives me the impression that he can communicate with his teammates.
Nice job, Craig. Thank you so much. We're watching Mr. Burton in the Daytona 500 this weekend. Paul Pierce inside. No one for Boston is in double figures until right now.
They could keep going a little longer.
Yeah, what do you think, John? Pierce again inside.
Well, the only thing I got upset with him, they didn't mention my boy Brendan Gaughan, who played for me.
Celtics are -9 in rebounding. The turnovers are even at 7 apeace. Right there, John, you were talking about it. Banks with a 3, and he nails it. The rookie from Duquesne.
Exactly. The minute Paul gets the ball, Albert has to make them pay for doing that.
I just said Banks from Duquesne. He's from UNLV, grew up in Las Vegas, and here he comes the other way. And flies in for 2, known for defense at UNLV. He was
former teammates in that town, especially when you've made some bad comments about that city. And he's nervous, there's no question. He's making a lot of mistakes here early on.
John Paul Pierce is the number 5 scorer in the NBA.
Rather than settling for an outside shot, use that athleticism, get to the rim, and create something just to get himself going a little bit.
Look at Pierce manufacture 2 inside.
Well, that was great. That time there was an opening.
They sure are. They've had 4 or 5 guys post up already for plays. Eric Williams and, of course, LeBron. And as we see Pierce just taking over at the offensive end.
Set the screens, play the defense, do the defense, and stop it. They're putting the right ingredients. You can't always put
bounds in 14 minutes. Got 2 quick fouls in the first quarter.
The thing I liked about what Paul Silas says is that Boozer didn't get in one ball game and came in the office, initiated a conversation.
Earlier game this season against the Cavaliers, he had 41 points in December.
The Celtics got more flow, and he was in a better position to go on his own because he's attracting a lot of attention now because he's doing a lot of things for himself.
I was impressed with the way the Celtics bounced back in the second quarter. Now, a lot of it obviously was Paul Pierce just taking over, but they did a much better job of rebounding.
Eric Williams, LeBron James, and Jeff McGinnis, the 5 to start the second half for the Cavaliers. This is Mike James, who nails the first shot uncovered off the baseline.
Beautiful feed by Paul Pierce, and he's played well for them. And they have Kevin Ollie coming off the bench in that familiar role for him. He's never been a starter, so it's probably better just to start McGinnis, and because he's added a veteran presence in the locker room and a guy who can really play.
Here's Pierce and Welsh.
Well, and not only has Cleveland made changes, I think that they've made guys that can.
As he gets older and gets better, and that's why they really hope DeJuan Wagner can develop into that terrific perimeter shooter that they need.
Paul Pierce has 25.
To now with this team, that even though he's gotten the attention that he's gotten, I loved what Paul Silas said about his learning curve still being up and his willingness to learn and to blend in with this team. Oh, that's the thing that Cleveland's got to do. They've got to stay emotionally up. For a young team, you've got to keep the intensity because emotionally they've let Boston back in this game. They had them on the hook.
Celtics team back into the game with some unbelievable offense. The turnaround from the baseline, and you see him curling off the screen for the fadeaway, and then using the screen again for the fadeaway jumper. Paul Pierce on fire here tonight.
And 2 great kids as well.
Well, and both of them have handled the situation well. You've got to think of all the people who've come into the league. These 2 kids, and particularly James, have been under a lot of exterior pressure.
This is unbelievable.
He's so good with the ball, and then when he gets you up in the air, he just uses that strength to be able to get the ball to the rim. Most guys can't even get that ball up to the basket.
And Cal has been put in a terrible situation where he's had to come from assistant to head coach. The personnel.
Beats Boston for the first time in 14 games.